See, the clip always is fully loaded, family. The clip is always fully loaded, as you can see right here. And I've always talked about this. People classified as white have always been, since day one, the most dangerous terrorists on the planet. That's including law enforcement. They're part of that as well. You see right here, national security study says white extremists have killed more Americans in the U.S. than jihadists. And that trend continues since this terrorism that was portrayed in Charlottesville, Virginia by a group of alt-right troglodytes. These Caucasoid devils, these troglodytes, went down, protested, and white supremacists are gonna call that peaceful. It was a peaceful protest. We displayed our rights. We displayed our Second Amendment, etc., etc. Our rights to free speech. But it was extremely violent, like it always is. Okay, this person, 32-year-old Heather Hare, dead. She was killed while protesting neo-Nazis in Charlottesville, Virginia. R.I.P. to her and her family. Okay, so again, these white troglodytes, these terrorists, have always been the most dangerous terrorists on the planet. That's including law enforcement. Bottom line. And I read this article here. I didn't know that they had Charlottesville had a vice mayor, or has a vice mayor that is classified as African American. According to this article from AlJazeera.com, Charlottesville Vice Mayor Wes Bellamy, a 30-year-old African American, says he received recent weeks from far-right activists before Unite the Right, which is expected to be one of the largest white supremacist rallies in the U.S. recent history. Quote, "I've been told I'm going to be hung from a tree," typical white supremacist rhetoric, "and I'm going to be shot, that I'm going to be beat up." He tells Al Jazeera, "You name it, every kind of N-word I have been called." Typical white supremacist rhetoric, right? And here's the thing, family. It's obviously ignored by the white supremacist president Donald Trump. It's code words, He says that this type of behavior is coming from many directions, and I'm paraphrasing. I have the quote. I'll pull up the quote in a second. But this is what I wanted to also address, right? Was the fact that you had the mayor and the governor condemning this white supremacist behavior, right? For Virginia and many other elected officials calling out alt-right, calling out these white supremacists, but yet the white supremacist leader, Donald Trump, and again, it's not surprising at all, doesn't condemn alt-right or white supremacy whatsoever, neo-Nazi, etc. Does not condemn that by name. It just says it comes from many sides, meaning that he would compare what these damn troglodyte white supremacists did in Charlottesville, Virginia, right? He would call that honorable, right? But condemn somebody like Colin Kaepernick for so-called disrespecting the flag. These white supremacists get up in arms regarding that. No lives were lost regarding that. You can sleep the next day just fine. It was not a violent protest. It was simply to raise awareness for domestic terrorism, aka police brutality, aka race soldier terrorism. That's all it was. But this guy is blackballed from the NFL. We're trying to do a boycott, which it will not be effective without the players being involved, without a consumer boycott, and with also the actual companies being involved with the boycott, etc., etc., as I said before in my previous videos. Got guys like drunken, Jay Cutler being a quarterback, Tim Tebow being called, but I'm digress. I gotta get off topic. Get back on this subject of these damn domestic terrorists, these white supremacist groups, alt-right, neo-Nazis coming in here and just terrorizing everything that they could. These are the true animals. These are the true troglodytes. We know this. We know this. Right? So this is what I was talking about here. Trump says in an appalling speech on Charlottesville, Trump condemns bigotry and violence on many sides. Right? And like I said with Colin Kaepernick, I'm pretty sure he'll put Colin Kaepernick in this category as bigotry and violence, when in fact it wasn't. You know? He said Charlottesville over the weekend was a jaw-dropping as appeared unwillingly to even lightly criticize a group of people who chanted Nazi slogans, suggesting that, quote, many sides were responsible and refused to condemn any person or group by name, rather. Quote, we condemn the strongest possible terms in this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. Trump said at the press conference that has been scheduled as a signing ceremony for Veterans Affairs legislation. Okay. So he obviously gave props to law enforcement, talking about incredible people. But watch the code words, family. Again, many sides, meaning continue what you do. And that was confirmed. And I'll go to this Twitter post by Soledad O'Brien in a minute. It was confirmed that the neo-Nazis praised what Trump said about them. Praised them. But these damn white supremacists and these troglodytes, again, continue to display why they're the most dangerous terrorists on the planet. Has nothing to do with being Muslim. It's domestic. These are quote-unquote Americans classified as white. Those are the terrorists. The most dangerous and largest terrorist organization on the planet, which includes law enforcement. So when Trump said this thing right here about bigotry and violence on many sides and stuff like that, this is what one of these damn white supremacist leaders, if you will, said about what Trump said. Trump comments were good. He didn't attack us. He just said the nation should come together. Nothing specific against us. He said that we need to study why people are so angry and implied that there was hate on both sides. So he implied the Antifa are haters. Okay. There was virtually no counter signaling of us at all. He said he loves us all. Yep. Also refused to answer a question about white nationalists supporting him. No condemnation at all. When asked to condemn, he just walked out of the room. Really, really good. God bless him. See? That's what I'm talking about right there. Again, what Donald Trump said is a code word to continue this abhorrent behavior displayed by these terrorists, white terrorism, alt-right troglodyte, Caucasite, Neander thugs. Donald Trump just continued to say, just co-sign your behavior, co-sign your abhorrent behavior, continue to do what you do because it comes from many sides. Code words, family. It's how he says it. And this is going to enable their behavior again. All right. Now, these Confederate states like Virginia and Kentucky and stuff like that, they still have museums and memorabilia of, slave-holding presidents and stuff like that, and statues and Confederate flags all around the states. And they're slowly coming around to remove some of these, white supremacist artifacts and memorabilia, et cetera, right? And it's because of this damn terrorist group, right, that just happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, that rained down on Charlottesville, Virginia, and killed one person. Again, 32-year-old Heather Heyer. So they're starting to come around. Hope more people, elected officials, around these, these Confederate states, they start removing more of the artifacts and memorabilia of Confederacy and slaveholding presidents. Just all of that stuff needs to be removed and abolished as soon as possible. All right. And these damn protests, these rallies, all they are, have always been, are just white supremacy's pep rallies. That's all they are. White supremacist pep rallies. And it always ends up in violence. Someone dies, someone's hurt. It continues to be the same thing because, again, these group of people are the most dangerous terrorists on the planet, hands down. And it's been like that for quite some time. And the proof is in the pudding right here. You can't deny this. Study says white extremists have killed more Americans in the U.S. than jihadists since 9/11. Proof is in the pudding, family. My clip is fully loaded. It's always fully loaded with information. All right. So you got Donald Trump enabling this behavior, this abhorrent behavior, to continue to support these white supremacist terrorists. Not condemn them by name, but just say this behavior and bigotry comes from many sides. Didn't call them out by name. Just basically said the code word of a good job, family. Continue to do what you do. All right. And again, like I said, we live in a system of racism, white supremacy. So nothing should surprise you based off this type of behavior. Nothing should surprise you. All right. And like I said in my previous videos, this type of behavior, these kind of things are going to continue to happen. And my recommendation has always been, we need our own resources. I call myself the Black Separatist. We need to have our own resources in all 9 areas of activity. That's economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. It's that simple. You need to go back to the days of Black Wall Street, right? During the Jim Crow era, where we're not depending on the dominant white society's resources. But again, many of us are not ready for that. Many of us will never be ready for that because we have mental disorders. We have mental conditions that doesn't allow us to do that. Many of us don't know we have these mental disorders, right? Such as cognitive dissonance, Stockholm syndrome, PTSD, post-traumatic slavery disorder. Just to name a few. All right. So anyway, family, those are my thoughts on that. Leave your comments down below. I just hope that, like I said, these Confederate holding states, they remove these white supremacist artifacts and memorabilia and these slave-holding presidents, right? And they really condemn and do something about these white supremacist pep rallies. Just basically just block them from happening ever again. It's a long shot, but we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below about the story, family. All right, until next time, Chauncey, a.k.a. the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.